All right, guys. 11:30. It is January 22nd, and it is Monday. So, first of all, again, thank you for everyone coming in. Oh, let me turn my light on. I know there's a lot of new people checking out the Alpha team and trying to see, I guess, a little bit of our style. Every week is different. Every month is different. Every quarter is different. Our styles tend to be the same depending on what's happening. Where we like to net money, we like to take trades, we like to have swing positions if they're working. There are times that we're very active. There are times when we're not as active. Tried to give everyone a bit of a look at what this whole thing is like, right? Where you have 764 people on there right now. That's pretty cool. And everyone gets to speak. You know, you could add value. You could point to stocks. You can do whatever you want. If you go up here, you'll see where, I put in most of all my thoughts, right? Thoughts like here, going into the semis. Like what I do every morning, like I said before, is I go over about 30 different charts, a lot of if, then this type of moves. So this is what goes up between 10 to 7 and 8 before I do the morning call. This was, AMD big additional move since we outlined 151. Some might try Q short versus a high, but that hasn't been the way to make money. Okay, and AMD off the open, was pretty big to the downside. I made $3. It wasn't really my trade. Some people made a few $1,000s. Some trailed it. That's just the thought. It's up to you to execute on that thought. Then now you just had a little bit of a move off the lows, where that was another little scalp. So, there's lots of things happening. But bottom line is, in here is a lot of just the charts and the thoughts. That's all I can do for you guys. Besides taking some myself. Let's see, where is someone asked me about the video real quick, and I'll get to NVIDIA. But by the way, so if you go here, you'll see that the first few trades on AMD, which is now flat, was short. And granted, it was very it was very quick, but it was up $1 and then it went down $2, so $3 short. I'm like, okay, and then we just made a little bit of money on the scalpy long side. So and then we're gonna get to questions. So here's NVIDIA. NVIDIA was a huge winner for me in the alpha team from 505 area. It gave many ways to enter. This morning it's above 600. We discussed this measure moving extent 610, 620. Today is not the day to start a fresh long, but it doesn't mean it's an easy short. So same thing. If you came in long, it was a good sell. If you look in NVIDIA wound up, wasn't a crazy move to the downside, but NVIDIA was a better sell than a buy on the open, right? It wound up coming into prior support, which is from the prior day. So you could have made money short. You could have trimmed some into strength if you were holding a big position still, and then then all of a sudden it put its, actually look at this candle right here, put its low in, right, and then held it. This is a nice igniting candle, and then held it, and now you're back. I wouldn't be buying this now, but now we'll see what happens here. We get another doji. It's definitely it's not falling apart. SMCI came all the way in also. I know Chilla made some good money short here. And then we all tried buying it a little bit into the belly of the beast. There was money that way too. And this actually filled the gap. So, lots of different ways to look at things, lots of different ways to navigate. Most people did come in long. I came in long with about 5 or 6, and I was also short some premium. I shorted some more premium, sold some longs, and I navigated some things. So not so bad, pretty decent. So, but every day, what you will see is that, there will be the same 30-ish charts up there for you to navigate, for you to watch, for you to create your go-to list. And this is basically my go-to list. Usually they're the fastest stocks. Sometimes it expands. Like for a while, the only two semis I had on there was NVIDIA and AMD. And then it turned into NVIDIA, AMD, and SMCI, and then it turned into NVIDIA, AMD, SMCI, and then Micron, right? If you look at Micron right here, I'm flatted. Micron was a great trade for the alpha team. I think most people had options. Anybody have options on in the alpha team? Hello? Anyone? It wound up being a really good trade. Some people had stocks, some people had a little bit of everything. You know, you go here and look at the reason why. It's actually still pretty strong. Here's Micron. You know, opened above 87, holding it. We were buying the options in here. And it was a little choppy as far as the stock's concerned. So anyway, just little things to net money, little things to massage trades, little things to try and create cash flow. That's all you could do. And you know, I know I'll probably wind up being upset when all of a sudden you're gonna have Microsoft go green, and we were buying that, you know, down in the 394 area. So, but if you sold strength, like I always say, sell strength, came along Microsoft, so you could buy a dip. So anyway, I kind of sold strength, wanted to show that I can get out of the swing, and then I didn't stay with it, and chances are it's going to rebuild and be just fine. So anyway, so let's get to some, yeah, so some people like, where do I see the VWAP? So here's where the VWAP is on my screen. So this is 442, so it's still $7 below the VWAP. Microsoft is above the VWAP. NVIDIA is above the VWAP. So, you know, midday when everybody leaves, it's the computers that are in control of the flow. So you want to know where the VWAPs are. Anyway, just another little tidbit. Amazon, yeah, Amazon is something that, you know, looks pretty tight here. If I was day trading this right now, the second, you know, you go to Amazon, you could actually draw this. I have a bunch of these charts up. You have a nice little flag here. I did buy more into support. I'm actually up money on it, and it's lower. Now you can see what happens here, right? I trimmed some into strength. My first 10 trades today were selling longs and trying to maybe a little cute short and getting long in the hole. So anyway, that was that was the somewhat mantra. If you go to Amazon, let's see, right, sell, sell, sell. We'll go those sells on Amazon, and then buy, 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 and then we bounced somewhere. I sold a little. Now I'm back to what I want to have. Anyway, so it is 11:36. I don't know if Amber's is going to host this, or I'm just going to filter through. So give me some questions that I could answer and I could help you guys with overall. More about the process, not really 100% on the market, because the market is going to change every few days. And, you know, actively we've been bullish above the 821 day. There's been leadership and ways to navigate. Yeah. Netflix came back. Netflix actually has a nice setup real quick into earnings, because again, it's lagged, so sometimes when it does lag in, it creates a nice setup where it's not really priced for perfection. If you look at Netflix here, you know, you could probably now, because it's been hanging in here, it hit 503 on December 20th. It is now January 20th. So for a month, it's going sideways. So if it says anything that's really, you know, I guess worthy of strong, it doesn't have to be awesome. It just has to be solid. You could probably buy a 505 by 525 call spread if you feel like you want to be involved, or you just wait for the print and buy it after hours through there. Could you speak to the market? Listen, a lot of people all of last year was trying to be out of the market because of the AD lines and the lack of, you know, breadth of the market, whatever you want to say. And as traders, we have the novelty or the wherewithal. We could just be in what's working. What was working last year was Meta, was, you know, the mega caps and NVIDIA and this and that, and didn't matter that, you know, that the small caps and the energy names and the banks were out of play. But then in November, it mattered because that's what drove us higher, and we focused on the IWM. So to me, I put the market in market sequences. You know, I go with the sequence when it starts. So in November, right around here, when the SPYs started this new active sequence, okay, hit the low, right, I would say right around November 1st, you wanted to see what would participate with that active sequence, right? What would go? And this reclaimed the 8 day. So at first, obviously, the small caps did it. You know, that same thing. It gapped above the moving averages, went sideways, and went all the way higher. Okay, so look at how awesome that was above the 8 day, above the 21 day. The small caps made us a lot of money. Okay, but in the same time period, you know what didn't go? The XLE, right? November, what did I say? November 1st was right around here. Well, actually, it was right around here. And then this day happened and came down, and it's just been like out of play. You know, so that wasn't involved in that active sequence. The banks were, right here. You know, you had this low, right? You had a low, and then you matched that low. This was the day that Jamie Dimon said that he was selling some, JP Morgan because he had to for whatever reason that was, and then boom, you know, triggered above it, and this got above the 8 day. So the new sequence in the SPYs, you know, you got to see who would be there and who wouldn't be there, and you know, the XLF was there, and the IWM was there, and the XBI was there, and the XLE wasn't. So I try not to look too close to you know, like what's exactly happening everywhere. Sol, not really. You know, I think all Sol won't be a zero, you know, but I think 90% of all coins will be zeros. So if you're going to trade any kind of crypto, I would just accumulate Bitcoin and Ethereum over time, or trade them actively with the same type of strategies I use for small caps. If it's above the 821 day, you're long it. You could use your tier system. You could do a lot. If you want me to go real quickly to Bitcoin, I haven't looked at Sol in a long time. I did. You know, you can go over here. Go to Bitcoin. You know, Bitcoin looks like it's ready to break down. You know, Bitcoin, I gave you guys a list of sell signals that happened in the course of the past, you know, week or two. First, the red dog reversal above 47.9. Then it broke the 8 day. So if you were actively trading Bitcoin for a living and monthly, that was your out. And then this confirmed it. Now I'm like, the longer we stay below this, the higher the probability we can continue lower. Well, kind of seems like Bitcoin is moving lower. So if that's the case, I'm sure Sol is getting really beat up. You know, so if you go to the watch list, and I did have Sol on it, my watch list, go to the crypto area, Sol. You know, Sol had a great move. You know, look at it, was above the 821 this entire time, and then had a major breakout here. Just, you know, when I was trading crypto along everything else, listen, when crypto moves, it moves, and you can get paid real well. Now this actually looks like it's breaking down. Broke all the moving averages right here. That should have been your out, 96. And now who knows? So anyway, that doesn't look like something I would be holding right now. Well, you know, I would say if Bitcoin gets to that 35 to 37, I'll come back real quickly. I think that's a spot to start accumulating it again. I don't know if I'll do it in my T3 work account. Maybe I'll start doing a little options, but I would think that would be a spot that would make some sense. I do think crypto is here to stay. I do think, you know, all these ETFs have to buy it. It just became too crowded, too loud. So I would say, again, into this area, this will probably move up. So from 37.5 to 36.5, probably a good spot, especially, you know, if you got out here or here for an active trader, and if you do position in it long term, which I do think will work long term. Only Bitcoin and Ethereum, not all coins. You know, then you do it every month, just like the S&P and the Qs. What are the Qs doing right now? Excuse me. Qs just like the SPYs have a bit of a doji here. You know, definitely very extended from the 8 day. Some new points of reference. This is your new high for. I'll put this here. This high here is 424.72. 424.72. I traded around some of those options pretty well. This is, you need point of reference from the morning, 421.19, right there almost. Hey, how are you? Oh, thank you. And we'll see how long it takes for the moving averages and everything to catch up a bit. At the end of the world, that's going to be doji. But I usually do around 11:30s. I make some of these charts and I post them. Let's see, SMCI moving again. Yeah, good call. By chilling. Dan just said the Qs are back by the VWAP, 422.86. Not quite there, but close. What's Palantir doing? All right. Palantir, what's it going to do? I came in long. I sold some. I bought some back. And so this is what happens. People are like, Red Dog, when you leave to go to the gym, how could you do that? How could you leave your positions? Like, well, if Palantir is going to be any good, it shouldn't break this zone. If it's going to go back towards high, to be honest, it probably shouldn't break here. So if I had just say 10,000 Palantir on, I would put a stop on a tier of it at 1760 and then a little bit more here. That's how I would do it. Just because, again, that's when the trade kind of changes. That's when this big wide range bar doesn't turn into that. So when the trade changes at lunch when I leave, that's when I go with it. What's SoFi doing? Yeah, what a pain in the ass this stock is. So now this shouldn't break below here. Why did I go with it? A, I was a little social, and B, made some sense, I guess. This is what SoFi looks like. Oh, look at that. Big gap up, topping tail, injected into the moving averages. At this point, Palantir is not quite like that. Had a nice price pattern, got above it, and 1743. We'll see if it holds it. Price gaps are great to trade against. Why? Because they give you points of reference. If something's going to be special and move real fast, typically it holds the big gap up. Doesn't fill it. When we went with Apple last week, Apple was a gap and go huge to the upside right here. Okay, we were able to buy it, verse that, and it never looked back. And now here you are 3 days later. And anyway, this now looks like a topping tail. So this was Apple's, plan this morning. I would trim this morning, not add. It can work back to highs in time, but actively a hard day to enter. Now you have a new high here, 195.32. At some point, to bubble these moving averages and fill the gap, and it was a great trade. Now it needs time. Sometimes things need time. Sometimes they're, they're kind of in motion. Maybe this 20 with this 599 area. MD. Wow, that was a nice move. See, they definitely have some moves if you do it calculated. All right, let's see. More questions. Sorry, I still have a little bit of a head cold. Macy's. So what happened? Macy's got a what's it called? A bid at what, 21, and they said no. Is that what happened with Macy's? Remember, there was some news about that a while ago when we played options and we lost. If you think there's going to be a higher bid, some were thinking 26, 28, then maybe on this, go out a month. If there's smoke, to have some fire, buy the $21 calls or something. That's if you want to. Usually the way I use the VWAP is sometimes obviously in the morning, you have some stuff on and you get to sell it into strength and it has a big move and you're like, wow, I just sold that into strength. Now I want to be careful buying it back midday when people leave. Most things are programmed to the VWAPs. You're like, you know what? Let me just put some bids in, around the VWAP. So if the computers want to have the best average cost throughout the course of the day, you're buying it with the VWAP. Sometimes things move away from the VWAP because, there's extra flows, there's a little bit of a short cover, there's this, there's that, but basically the VWAP is your like old school institutional sales trader where somebody say, hey, buy me, 2 million Apple, get me the average of the day or beat 10 cents. If you beat 10 cents, take 3 cents. Now it's, buy me 1 million shares of Apple at the VWAP, and they pay them like a half a penny. So depends. So like right now, it's like, okay, Apple is below the VWAP. So when it was lower, here, maybe sometimes when things are very much far below the VWAP, you don't want to be shorting it. If it's in a downtrend on the day, you want to short it when it bounces up to the VWAP. In the same way, if you're long something and you get to sell some strength, you don't want to buy back too soon. You'd rather buy it back at the VWAP. Those are some ways, they can be used. DraftKings. Let's see. Well, it looks like you had a gap up, then made 2 lower highs, another lower high, and just like a rangy day. A lot of guys were talking about, DraftKings the past few weeks. Some guys were buying it a lot lower. Here's your gap. If I was in a swing, I'd be long versus 36.44. That's 36.44. And it does seem like at some time, it could get above the recent highs. That's pretty good. What's DWAC doing this? Oh my God. You know what? It's so bad. After this day one, I put it on the radar. I put it back on the go-to list, and I bought the dip and went to the PHUN instead. And look at that. A lot of money there. A lot of money there. If that was what you were doing and you were like a big Trump fan. But
there's a lot of options in that.
Or you don't have to be a Trump fan. Just say, hey, technically, like I remember when GME and AMC and all those guys are moving, like, would you ever trade those? I'm like, if they trade well, technically, of course. Well, this was a great day one. Gave you a day two buy in the hole. You could have bought through here, went to there, hung out, didn't fall apart, and then boom. Shame on me. Hopefully, some of you guys made some money there. Wow, just that fast, huh? Let me see something. Snow looks pretty good. Snow, I put the chart on Snow looks like it's at some point, now you could be long versus this area. I don't know if it has enough power today, but it could be long versus 196.68. Seems like in time it's going to get above that 203 area. Looks like this could be a good swing long for the week if you follow that. MDB kind of goes with it also. Looks like this could be a decent long for the week if you think the market's going to hang in there and rotate. Team. This one gapped up and now it's creating a little bit of a topping tail, but it's come a long way. So there are some names going into some other things. I can't believe I got, much that was a great piece of business at DWAC. Damn it. At that point, I think we had like these other two bad little names that just weren't working out. Let's see. Crap. Same thing. If you have a gap up and you power through the moving averages, It could be reborn if you get rejected into them. You know, you got to take that trade and run, and then figure it out. CLF. That's a nice little candle there. You know, you could be long versus here. It's a broken name. Broke right there, was extended from the moving averages. If you were playing this for a bull flag breakout up here, that was your day to get out. And this is when it lost momentum. It's been pretty much a downtrend since, like most of energy, even though it's just like a little offshoot of energy. It's a start. Everything needs a start. That's a start. Oxy. I bought it versus the area. You know, if Buffett wasn't in this name, I wouldn't even look at it. But, you know, each time supposedly in this area, he's a buyer. Better than buying it up here. So I bought a little bit versus this spot. So we'll see how that goes. Not very compelling. What's up, Charles? Crowd. Hold on. Crowd's been a leader. It's probably, if I would have guessed, probably up today. I'm not held up. Very big leader, actually. Yeah, look at that. Trending strong with another gap to see if it holds above. I would definitely be trimming, not your time to add. If anything, you should have taken this home long if you were CRD. Close right at the highs after holding the 8th day. That's nice. MSOS. Just hanging here, you know. Reversed on Friday. Could have trimmed a little bit, hold a little bit. That's going to wait for news. It's going to wait for the DEA. If it comes out favorable, according to the industry people, you know, you would think maybe it gets above this spot here and gets towards this 14 area. Big if, big if. Sprint. Who's saying irrational exuberance? You're Denny. Come on, Ed. Yeah. This had a gap up and was kind of sold. So, I mean, the strength was sold, not bought. So you have to be a little careful. This is your highs, but again, it was a little extended. So see how that goes. I don't like. Solos are so hard to trade. So I don't really trade them. Again, just like everything else, push through, rejected into moving averages. Not here like where it pushed through and got above it, and then you had a gap up and it continued. So if you have a big push into the moving averages and it can't reclaim them and it's sold into there, you know, so you have to be a little careful. Look at AMD now, still continuing. What's Amazon doing? Remember that little inside range? Ooh, looks like Amazon's going to break above it. Markets are still hanging around. Yeah, that was early. That's why we went short it early on. Now it's trying to repair. Looks like this can get above here. What's Google doing? I did sell a lot of Google. A third of my options. Still hanging here. Gets above here a little bit later. Maybe gets a push. All right. ASML. Wow, that's a fast move. The red dog reversal right here on this day, not knowing what would happen next. Big gap and go above the moving averages. Was it sold? No. Jeez. I'm sure a lot more people got caught short this along this. It happens. That's why you don't fight stuff. All right. So usually I buy options when I'm not sure when the stock's going to go. You know, when I'm kind of thinking it's going to happen soon, but you know, I might not be by desk when it triggers or hasn't really started yet. So I kind of buy options. And then once I buy options and people are like, oh, you know, it's starting to act better and it's like a trade that's in motion, then I buy the stock too. So if I'm in options and stock, chances are it's one of my thought processes that are starting to work out. So it's something you should focus on. So There's a binary event also. Chances are I just need a little bit of water. I'm right back. So it's a spies. What's that? RUM. Big volume. It's a big candle. So if this holds up, could start a new active sequence. Why not? Maybe Portnoy will do it again. Got 100 million from Penn National. Then everybody thought he wasn't a great representative and brought it back for $1. Good for him. If someone else wants to do it, go for it. Not my place. It's another Trump play. All right. Well, the more DWAC goes, like I said, the more the dog barks, the more, different tails can wag. So if there's tails out there to wag, well, there it is. Is anyone short Tesla? Nah. It's been down too much. It feels like it could rally at any point like it did this morning. So if you were short Tesla this morning, you probably got squeezed out of it, right? They squeezed out of it and then all the way down. I just think it's an avoid, in my opinion. So that's PHUN, 37 cents. Huh. You stayed with it through it. By the way, this PHUN did 2 big money raises, so now it's got a lot of money. So if the money behind it wants it to keep going, it can. It's just gonna do it without me. There are a lot of news guys out there and some story players. It's cool. They work at times, but most of the times they don't. Right, if you want to see if you want to short up a bounce in AMD. So yeah, this is if you were looking to short a bounce, yeah, you said 169. That makes sense. It's kind of where it broke down from right in here. What were the best bullish stocks from this morning? Well, I came in with a lot of stocks. It was stocks to be bullish overnight, stocks that went out with momentum. That was your SMCI, that was your NVIDIA, that was your AMD, that was your Microsoft, that was your Apple, that was your Amazon, that was your Google. So those were the ones that broke out and you were selling into momentum. Now they have to reset up, okay? If you took a little bit of the IWM and some of those small caps because you thought maybe they played catch up, there was a trade there, and now we're kind of in a little bit of flux. All right, do I think today's high in the SPYs is going to be the high of the first quarter? No, I don't think that this 485.22 is going to be the high of the first quarter. I don't. But can it be the high for 3 days? Maybe. It's a doji. In my 2024 report, I said we can get to 51, 5,200. And we're on our way. I wasn't sure about the first 2 weeks, but then, things ignited 2 weeks ago. when NVIDIA took off and the semis took off. I'm still in tier 1 of my, my wife's blood in the street account. Well, what's going on with Palantir? Is it coming in as I'm talking to you guys? Yeah, it's a little annoying. I mean, I'm already in Palantir, but if you didn't buy the strength, you could definitely be in that and have a stop. This could be your stop right here. So, and then this could be, if you're giving them more room, a real stop. Disney high today. It's been acting a bit better. Rum looks pretty good. What was the deal with Portnoy? Yeah, Disney's been working a little bit better. So sloppy. Okay. I like that though, Kenny. Long here, stop there. That's the way to put a calculated trade in the cycle there. I'll write it down just some. Yeah. That's interesting. It's a big day one. I don't know if you buy it this second. What's a short interest there? We have something called power plays, which is kind of like the swing alerts. Whereas if you're not going to be here all day long, my editor sees a play that I put on, and sometimes if it's a day trade, I'm like, no, it's not a power play. And sometimes if I'm like, okay, yeah, I think you can go higher, then he'll send out an email to an alert to be a power play. So then that's kind of like the alert package, where it's not like put together the morning game plan with if this, then that, if that, then this, and then go. So there is something there. Citigroup. Yeah, City act different this whole time. This is now out of the way. Bring this down now. As a gap and go. Yeah, good. You can be long versus spot here. 50.62. Apple. Now everyone's starting to get bullish on Apple. Come on, guys. Look how fast this move was. Now it just needs some time. It's so extended from the moving averages. You're welcome. Google dumped. Yeah, I'm very small Google. Google gotta wait. You gotta wait. Sometimes you gotta wait. Anybody is Rumble? Is that Joe Rogan's website? I like Joe Rogan. All right. 1208. He's on Spotify. Yeah, that's what I thought actually. All right. So at this point, real quick, I'm going to leave you. Pretty much what we thought transpired, where the first 30 to 60 minutes was more of a sell than a buy. SPYs now have a bit of a doji. Could be a topping tail depending on how the day goes. You have a new point of reference up here, and then you have this gap that probably gets filled. The Q's the same thing. Just needs an inside day after a huge move. Most of everything that we spoke about, whether it's SMCI was a better sell than a buy at first, AMD was a better sell than a buy at first, NVIDIA, then Microsoft, and everything I came in, I was trimming in the first pre-market to 30 minutes, and then everything after that became somewhat of a trade. And now, might need a day or two. You might get these one-off moves, which are dangerous but could make you money. Like this run might be something good. Might turn into a 2-day move. You have a big day one. Stock's been battered and bruised and blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of excitement around things like if something like this happening where you get a big day one that led to a day two and then consolidation and pow. So when you see stuff like that, everyone's like, what's next? How could I find something like that? So just be careful going for something like that. But they're out there. And that's what your job is as a trader, to figure out if that's what you want to do. All right, guys, I got to jump. Right.